Doop boop boop. Doo doop doop boop doop. Ah, how's that for intro music? Hey, howdy folks. I'm back, and this week I'm just gonna do another update video because my SD card got corrupted this week. So I lost some videos that were gonna be a part of larger videos. And who would have thought that buying the cheapest little micro SD card on Amazon would have had some quality concerns there? Huh. Live and learn, right? Anyways, so I'm just going to run through what's going on here. Alright, look at this big old white guy here. That is Peachy Keen. I cheated a little bit with that this week. I wanted to keep as much as possible from the batch before racking it. So I added some potassium sorbate, what do they call that? They call it a stabilizer. It kills off the yeast colony by making it so that the yeast is unable to reproduce. So I added that on Thursday. Then on Friday, yesterday morning, I added the bentonite clarifier to draw as much out as I could before racking it. So I did a pretty good job with that. I've got a big old, let's say 5.5 gallons in the secondary and a little carboy back there with maybe 3/4 of a gallon. And one thing to know about using bentonite clarifier is it's a clay. If I had thought about this for more than 2 seconds beforehand, it would have made complete sense. But you don't want to wash that down your drain, because washing clay down your drain is a good way to get clogs. So now, after a couple of days of snaking, I dumped that into behind my bushes out front. And there's probably enough yeast nutrient, which is DAP, which is pretty much Miracle-Gro, so I guess that's a little bit of a fertilizer for them anyway, so good on them. Look how pale that is. That's gonna be, I mean, it still tastes great. It's a little yeasty at the moment now that all the sugar is gone from the honey, but it's gonna be so pale once that drops out. You see, it's still kind of pushing along here. Let's see if we can watch that move a little bit. Yeah, it's pushing. It's slow, but it's still pushing a little bit of gas out. Alright, so I can't remember if you... Oh, no, yeah, I did. So this is the grapefruit ginger. You saw me add a little bit of clarifier to that last week, both bentonite and sparkleoid. So it's been a week, which is what the sparkleoid says to leave it. So I racked that, and it's getting pretty clear. And the ginger is coming out a little bit more because I added a ginger tea in as well. Just grated ginger in hot water for a while, and poured that in there. As I expected, a lot of the bitterness from the pithiness has gone away, but it still needs a little bit of sugar, and I'm gonna need to experiment with that, see how much sugar it needs. Over here's the agave wine. Still real dark, but it tastes like a Chardonnay almost, like a smoky Chardonnay. It's really bizarre because you have such a dark color and such a light taste. I have clarified that and also stabilized it. I was planning on adding some more agave to it, but it is still snaking along here too. And the whole reason I did this batch of straight agave was to see what the flavor was like, so I knew how to add it into other batches. I'm not extraordinarily interested in this one. So I think I'm just going to bottle it in some of my little flip cap bottles and see if it gets itself a little carbonated in there and see how that goes. Let's see. This is my hard water. Look at that. Look at how clear that is. It's gorgeous. I still don't know what to do with it flavor-wise, so it's just kind of hang out in there until I figure that out. Kind of thinking just about adding some cranberry juice to it and calling it a day. I don't know, still taking suggestions. This little guy is that extra bit of wine I had left over. I added agave to that, if you remember. So it came out with a real juicy taste to it, which came in handy because I lost my patience and over-oaked the Shiraz wine. So after clarifying this, I added some of it back into the big batch of wine, and hopefully that will kind of cover up some of that bittery oak. So yeah, I lost my patience, which is never a good thing, but it happens. And here is, I guess, what I'm calling a lactomel, because that's the term I saw for it on the internet. It is a show mead, meaning there's just honey in there, there's no flavor, but instead of water, I used whey from that I pulled out of making yogurt. Now, it is interesting. It has a sour flavor to it, and yet it's not so much like sour beer, but more like a whiskey sour type sour. It has an eggy mouthfeel to it, like a real slick mouthfeel. It's strange and interesting and cool, and it's obviously still chugging along here. I've been trying to keep it cold. It's been a little harder than the big batch. It feels relatively cool, but I need like a fermenting chamber so I can keep it under 60 degrees, but we'll see how that goes too. So I've got both primary fermenters free and 1 gallon carboy free. If anybody has any suggestions of what I should do next, please let me know. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.